All right, okay, let's get started. Hey, and welcome back, everybody. Good to see you again. My name is Ryan Selvey. If you're here for the first time, if you're not here for the first time, you know who I am. I'm a live streaming motion designer and creative here on Adobe Live and Behance. It's great to see you here. We've been taking over Adobe Live for the last 2 days. Today's our third day. This is episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are just bringing on different artists throughout the week, asking them about their process, showing their work, looking behind the curtain and seeing how things work, what inspires them, and just seeing growth across the board. We're taking questions from you, the chat, in real time, because this is a live stream after all. If you have questions, comments, you name it, throw it in the chat. We want to see it. It's all part of it being live. Otherwise, we would just pre-record this, and then what's the fun in that? We're over on YouTube and we're over on Behance. If you're over on the YouTube channel, either the Adobe Creative Cloud or the Adobe Live one, make sure you hop on over to behance.net/Adobe Live. That's where we'll be monitoring the chat and responding to things. Our wonderful moderator, Sam Peterson, who's also a live streamer, is here moderating, and he'll help put you in the right direction. But hey to Sam, hi to Oliver, Jack, Steve, Wade, thanks for all being here. If you guys missed it, Wade just came off of a challenge 3 minutes ago. Make sure you go check that replay. He's been doing a challenge all through the week. He has another challenge tomorrow at the same time at noon or 9 o'clock if you're on the West Coast. And it's a really good way to learn the programs from an expert. And really great guy, super talented, even streams on his own. Make sure you check it out. I also see Malroy just came in. Welcome back. Good to see you. Jack has an extra busy day, but have a few minutes for Ryan between meetings. And yeah, I'm here for all the work and lurk out there. If you are just here and you want to hear my voice in the background, it's totally welcome. But at the same time, don't be shy. Good to see you. Welcome back to Gareth. It's fun, you know. We're just here to have a good time. My cat might jump up and pop up onto the camera at any given moment, so that's something to look out for too, even if you're not interested in any of what I have to say. I'm really excited to show you guys Ram's work today. You might know him as OversetText on Instagram or Twitter. He makes these really incredible posters that are inspired by newspaper design and things that you might see wheat pasted on the side of the street that you say that's really funny, or that's like makes really good impact of positive like political statement. And it has a lot of inspiration in the past, but he's also really experimenting with gradients and type and color and hierarchy. And I think we have a lot to learn through him. And we're going to just kind of see how his brain ticks, because I want to learn how to do things the way that he does. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring him in. So if you guys could please give him a really warm welcome. I believe this is his first time on Adobe Live, unless I'm wrong. But make sure that it's a good experience for him. And we'll have a good time for the next 2 hours. So we're here. Even if you have a meeting that happens, you know, in a few minutes, come back. We'll still be here hanging out. It's just like the show that goes on forever. So here he is. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Ryan. Hello, everybody
Hi.
in chat. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So this is your first Adobe Live premiere, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, it is.
What a pleasure! I
Yeah.
get to be the one that brings you on. I'm sure that after this, they're gonna hit you up all the time and be like,
I
come
hope,
back.
please. This is my end, guys. This is my end. No, but thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Like I said, I'm always really excited for these shows because I get to reach out to people that I think are really cool online, and it gives me an excuse rather than just being like, "Hi, I like your work," to actually be like, "Hi, this is something that you can actually have equity with."
Yeah.
So it's a good excuse to be able to talk to you. But I found your work, I think, originally through Instagram, but I've seen it all over the internet ever since. Now that I can identify it. But I'll let you kind of introduce yourself if you want to take the floor and tell everybody about you.
Hi, hi, I'm Ram. You probably know me as OversetText, and I did a 365 challenge where I made a poster every day. I think that's what I'm most known now I'm that guy that did a poster every day,
It's just a
and
lot. That's a
just a
lot
lot.
to
And
do.
everybody, yeah, to me it wasn't a lot. I don't know. And I'm just here to share anything because I don't like gatekeeping. When I first started the 365, I kind of set out like, you know what, I want to have fun. I want to learn. Like I originally just did it to just learn about design because I was kind of just creatively depressed, just regularly depressed, and I was like, I need to do something with my life. So I did that project with the two goals of just improving my design and having fun. Those are the two core tenets of OversetText. And I just kept doing it, and now I'm here. I finished the year. Finished it June 8th or
Oof.
7th, actually.
Just in
And
time for summer.
yeah, and then now I don't know what to do in my life. Now I'm on this on this stream.
Yeah.
Because now
Hey,
I
I
have
mean,
nothing. The 365
if
is
that's the
over.
biggest worry, I mean, that's a good place to be.
Yeah, I
I
know.
mean, I guess you could always pick it back up if you wanted to, but I mean, you said that
Oh,
it didn't seem
maybe.
like it was that much work, but I feel like it just
I don't know. Well,
seems like it'd be a lot
I
of
don't
work.
know. It was the beginning took I always looking back at it, the beginning and the end was the hardest
Okay.
in my opinion because the beginning, the first 30 days felt so long. And also I was thinking about it cuz like my mindset was so different cuz I was nobody. I had 50 followers on OversetText. I made that as like a
Wow.
it started with 50 followers. I made that during when I was working as a designer. I was like, I need to have an outlet for like personal work. I didn't do anything with it. There was like 5 posts. And then I started it. It was just so hard because I was nobody. I felt like I was just making work into the void. But what really kept me, and I almost quit like 2 weeks in. I think there was like one poster that was just like I had like a block of text at the very top that was just complaining about like why do we need another designer? There's so many other designers on Instagram. Like, well, who
A
am I?
real authentic spiral you have there.
Yeah, no, the page is I'd like to say is very authentically me. Like I'm not like most of the stuff there are kind of ridiculous. Like, why would anyone post this? But that's just me. That's just who
No,
I
it's
am as a
great.
person.
If
And
anything, it's also a cool journal of your state of being
yeah,
and your mind and your opinions and your
exactly.
views.
I think at some
Um,
point it said it was a 365 and a design diary.
yeah.
So you could see my mood throughout the entire project. Like you could see the trajectory of where my head was at. So, and that's why most of the posts are either funny because I like being funny, political because I believe that I need to, I have a responsibility to do something with the platform. Whether even before I was like big, I was just like, well, I need to speak up on it. And even like my first one was like my first post that like got big was like the paper straw post. I was just like kind of like annoyed at like like our individual contributions are not changing it a lot. So I don't know. I just you look at the post, you'll see my point. But
Yeah, no, I'll go ahead. I'm gonna actually share it up real quick. But
yeah, I like
we
being
can actually
cheeky.
use this as a really good excuse into our first
Segment.
segment, which
I
is
love
let's look at your
segments.
work. Let's look at your work. So yeah, this is the one that you said that kind of like first really took off.
Yeah, that is the first thing that really I was like, oh, like because I was kind of like trying to figure out what to do because everything before this I had no style. I think everybody, we always have that worry, like, what's my style? What's my style? Blah 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 blah. And I remember when I made this, that was in the news where like the ocean was on fire, and I was just like, and the conventional advice for people is like, oh, you should recycle paper straws. I don't know, and I really hate paper straws too. But I'm like, yeah, using paper straws is not gonna help. I mean, it does help, but it's not like.
But the ocean's on fire.
But the ocean's fire. Like, how is that helping? Like, and like mostly it's like corporations. Like there's corporations that would do more help if they change their ways. Like us as individually feel like it's kind of useless. I don't know. It's just I was just frustrated, and I was just like, you know what, this is an outlet, and there we go. It's I made that, and it blew up, and it taught me.
And it was your second one out of 365?
No, this is like day 27.
Or when you say number 2 of 365, do you mean that this is the second like most popular?
No. I meant like I said in the post, I was like, I hate number 2, but I meant like they thought that like the second slide was what I hated, but that's not what I hate. I meant like the second one from the 365. That the comment is just, I was just confused. I should have been more accurate with my language, but this was like day 27. I think it's 4th of July, actually. I think I made this 4th of July.
Oh.
And yeah, I did what this piece taught me was I can be funny or sarcastic, you know, like a little bit witty, and that I could say what I really believed in, and that it would work. Like, you know, people would resonate.
And it's a viable platform.
It's a viable platform. People resonated with the work. So I was like, oh, okay. So I could do this. Because like during the time on Instagram, I don't know, it's changed now since I started doing this. During the time on Instagram, it felt very, I don't know, felt very different. Like the Instagram scene was very different from what it is now.
Yeah, and it changes all, you know, daily.
Yeah, it changes a lot. You know, it's like with the trends and who's popular and who's not. But I just felt
you grew your audience from, you said 50 to 80,000 followers in a year.
Yeah, within a year. Which is kind of
buck wild.
Yeah, thinking about it now, I was like, oh God, like there's a lot. But I just did it because like I posted what I thought was funny, what I believed in, what I just kind of was like myself, this is when I started being myself. Like this is the first post that like felt like, oh, this is kind of like who I am or what I believe in. And I mean, the comments are a mess on the original post, but that was like my first post. I got like 10,000. And I was just like so excited because like, you know, you look at the reshare, like people who reshared on their stories. Like it would just like kept refreshing. And I was like, whoa, and this is me with like 80 followers at that, or 100 followers at that point. So I was like, oh, wow. Yeah. And now that's normal for me.
Now you're blown away. I mean, you're less blown away, but
yeah, well, you know, that was what get me going. But then I had the fear that I always talk to my friend because like at that point, and I'm still friends with him. My day one, Dante, who's Apple I think his name is just Dante Lozano on Instagram now, but he was like my first friend on Instagram that I made. We talked about it because we always talk about like, you know, getting big, because he was doing a 365 at the time too, but we were just like, how do we get big, or how do we show our work to more people? But we always talk about like, you're gonna be that guy, like, you know, there's a guy that has the same style, and then you're just gonna be that guy. And I was afraid that I was gonna be the paper straws guy. Like I would just do the same layout. I would do the same layout forever and ever, but I didn't do that. There's always a choice for people on Instagram. Like you could be like that guy that does the same thing, but I could have, but I just chose to like further experiment. So I was just like, I just kept doing other stuff, but that is kind of like a mainstay of my page, like that style. And I could actually like in the next or whatever segment, that was actually inspired by like old advertisement from like Minneapolis. His name's Tom McElligott, and the art director for him, who he worked with a lot, was Ron Anderson. But that's, once we get to the inspiration segment, I could talk more about them, because they were a huge part of what gave me like inspiration.
Yeah, and it's cool. And I was you know, turned on to them through you when I was figuring out who you're going to use for inspiration. But I can really see a lot of through lines. I can also see what you took and, you know, made your own. By the way, you're getting a lot of
also, yeah,
I was comments in the chat.
Yeah, I just want to say hi to Jesse. Hello, Gio. Hello, Jazz. Who else is here? Thank you for coming. What's up?
Yeah, no,
we made it, guys. We made it. We're on Adobe.
Ron's also saying that you have great work and that he loves the simplicity. And I am really excited to show you a lot of Graham's work with really powerful, large type, but also kind of as the challenge goes on, he continues to play with what is the center focus, even if it's not large type. And I guess we should also probably, since you were talking about it a little bit, it might be prudent to actually just check out the first one that you did, which was "Have you drank some water today?"
I should probably drink some water, huh?
Yeah, right. Like you said, it has a good impact on social good. Make sure you guys go ahead and drink water if you haven't already. Also, there's a lot of people saying hello to you over on YouTube as well.
Hello, everyone on
Sam
YouTube.
is going to help you out and bring you guys over to Behance where the chat is. But I do see Black Fox and Gravy and Paulina and Amy. It's good to have you. Just
hello,
hop
everybody
on
there.
over to Behance.
Yeah, go on Behance. Come over here. But this poster, I mean, when I made this poster, I didn't know what I was doing. I knew I wanted like the 70s, 80s advertising. I just didn't know how to do it yet. And that's what frustrated me before I started doing this challenge. I was just like, I didn't know how to do it. Like I had it in my head and I was just like, I didn't know how to do it. So I was like, okay, so I should probably do this challenge so I could just teach myself every day. Right. And this was inspired. I mean, it says right there, like, I'm Josiah, who is kind of like, she was the first person who was doing a lot of the 70s, 80s type style, even before anyone was doing it. So I credit her. And Elliot is kind of like Elliot is a cool guy who's oh
yeah, Elliot's great. I know his name is Elliot is a cool guy, but Elliot is great in general.
Yeah, Elliot is a great guy. And I'm not just saying that. But yeah, I wanted to be like cheeky. I wanted to be like funny. I like text. He taught me like, sometimes you can just use text as texture, but I wanted to like say something in the text, something about, I don't know, like inject my humor, because I'd like to think I'm a funny guy. So I was like, you know what? Elliot taught me that graphic design can be funny.
Yes.
I was like, oh, it can be funny, because I feel like most of us, like designers, seems to be very, serious. We're very serious.
So seriously.
We're taking it, a little bit too serious. And I wanted to like, let's have fun a little bit with the design. And yeah, I made this and I did like a little water distortion. I think that, go back to that. Actually, let me just go back to that page. I just want to point out the only thing that I really worked on this was the little distortion on the water. That was a chat. I don't know. I spent hours on that. I don't know. I was just like trying to recreate. I was like experimenting, like, what does type look like in a water or like glass? So
right, yeah, no, because you don't even have it in the water below. If you had the water, it'd be even more distorted, even like
I was like, no, I'll do that later. But
no, but it's great. It's subtle. It's there, but if you look for it, you can tell. You can even see that you kind of messed with the descender of the Y. Comes in and even has a little bit distortion.
I was,
and it's
like,
simple, but it's great.
Yeah, simple. That's what most of my work is like simple. I don't know. Honestly, like, the less moving parts, the better, because I get anxiety if there's too much stuff and I overthink. And this challenge was
that's everyone's,
Well, if you're an overthinker, do a 365, and then that will fix it. That will literally fix it, because
it'll fix it, or it'll put you into more of a spiral. I feel like I would probably go more into a spiral.
What people have been asking me for advice, and one of the advice that I would say is that and I always say, so there's something magical about deadlines. And maybe that's because I worked in the newspaper where there was like a hard deadline. Like, if we don't do this now, I'm gonna get fired. Right. So there's the magic with deadlines, because like, usually when you were in school and you would like write an essay,
a paper at 11:45. Yeah, I remember that.
And you know how like your brain goes into overdrive and finds a way. To do it. That's how it is with a deadline. So 365. I was like, I have to send this at like 11:59, PM PST, or else I failed the challenge. That was in my mind the entire time.
Yeah. So did you guys give yourself a deadline? Did you just had to post it before midnight, before the next day started?
Yeah. Well, where I live, so like PST. So
yeah.
But like,
did you ever miss a day?
I did not. But I did not miss a day. Thank you. I could, and I did not make. I will say this. I'm very proud of this fact. I did not make a post that said, I have no ideas today.
Right.
I don't know. That's kind of like a cliche of 365. It's like, I have no ideas today, so here's a poster. I didn't do that. So that's one of my crowning achievements with 365. I had an idea every day.
That in itself, even before you design anything, is an amazing achievement.
So, Yeah, I have a rolling. I didn't even do all the ideas on this notes app. I have a notes app of ideas. I forgot to send a screenshot, but there's like
Ooh.
notes app of ideas on here. Some of them make no sense. I don't know what I was saying. Like real players are prayers, green flags and graphic designers. Feel free to steal all these. But these are ideas that did not make it to 365 because I forgot, or I don't know, I just didn't feel inspired to do them. But I have that backlog of ideas, and that was, you guys need to write it down. Like another tip, write it down. If you have an idea, you will not remember it.
Yeah.
I will assure you that you will not remember the idea unless you start working on it immediately. You need to like at least put it on Photoshop. I don't know, draw anything.
I have it saved to the cloud somehow.
Yeah.
Get it out there, get it written so that you can have a kind of a record of something that was flying through your head at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, because then you're not gonna remember, and you're gonna be like, oh no, what was that idea? And then it's gone. But yeah, I had a running log of ideas, so I never ran out of ideas. Or like visually, I would just like put it in a Photoshop file, make it, and then draft it. I'm like, all right, this is for later.
Yeah, did you do any like in advance where you?
Oh
like,
yeah, I did.
Be on vacation or whatnot, and then
yes. So actually, I went to the Philippines for like 3 months during the challenge. So I would just schedule, like, even I think the first 2 weeks I was gonna I went to Marfa, Texas for like a week, or like a week, and I didn't have a laptop at the time, so I had to just make a week's worth of posts in like 4 days. That was like when I got burnt out. Like that was like the first 2 weeks. I was so close to burnout because I was just making stuff for 4 days. Like I made like 3 posts in a day, and that really burnt me out.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. It's not even the daily challenge at that point. That's just like hyper overdrive,
Yeah, and that's when I almost gave up, but then I didn't. But yeah, no, I literally, this challenge was like, it's my number one priority. Oh yeah, I could actually show you where it was. Like, I think it's that big red blob right there, right below 911. No, right below 911. That one. That's where I was. That's the point where I almost gave up. Day 11.
I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest, and I've only made like a dozen of these, and there is such a limited amount of talent out there that is even a need for another designer, and I'm already 27, so it's probably too late, and I've wanted my life away, and I'm never going to come up with anything creative, and wow, it's only the second week of this project, and I'm already thinking this, oh no.
I forgot what I wrote in there. I was like,
yeah, no, that's what all this is up here.
I was really, I was on something. I was like, really, it was a day 11. So I was almost so close to giving up. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do it. And I guess I did do it. So,
I mean, this was number 11 of 365. And you're like, this is it. This is all of my ideas. That's like when they tried to, back in like the 20s or 30s, they were almost shut down the copyright, like establishment in America. So like, everything's already been invented. And it's like, wait a second,
there's nothing else. Also, hello to Kuro and Alana. Hello everybody. Thanks for being here. Yeah, that was this is the point. I would always point to that one where I was like, I'm gonna give up. This is it. This is over.
And thank God you did it though, because you made some really cool stuff.
Yeah, there's yeah, I'm really glad that's the original post, and then after that, that's where it really took off. And that's why
you said that your paper straws one really was the one that like
that
took
was
off.
the one. Yeah, 11K baby. That's my brother right there. We were in the this is like the diary. That's my brother. We were at Marfa. This is me trying to make a magazine. So yeah.
And it's interesting also to see these are the earlier ones where you just have one. But as you kind of get later into the project, then you just go like on steroids and you just kind of fly through. You're like, okay, here is 8 versions of the same poster.
well, it's just different colors. I just made
it's not different colors specifically.
Which
and
ones?
It's because I was going and I was collecting things for this stream. One of my favorite ones is for this one.
Oh, that's Gio. that's me and Gio. Shout out to Gio in chat.
This is nuts. Like, what?
Well, yeah, that's Gio. That's mine.
This
I don't
isn't a
know.
single challenge. This is like 12.
Well, we really wanted to push it with that. Well, actually, collab week, I'm gonna be honest, guys. Collab week was hell for me. I was so stressed out because like collab. Also, yeah, I made this challenge harder for myself. I think halfway through the challenge, I was like, let's make this harder. Let's make this more interesting. So
You got too comfortable.
I said I'm gonna do a collab every week with somebody on Instagram, and I did that. I think I did over 30, and
Wow.
and I decided for the last 7, let's do it in a week, like so for 7 days straight. And you know how designers are, we put stuff off.
Yep.
So I had so much time for this. And we all decided that we were just gonna work on it the week before, which is fine for them individually. But for me personally, I'm like doing 7 different like projects. So I was like, oh no. I was like, am I gonna do this? Is this where I'm gonna miss a day? But I did it.
But you didn't. And I mean,
Because,
you obviously had something come out like this.
yeah,
Paloma says you pushed it and killed it. And then also
you.
Brian joined us over on Behance and says, oh, this is where the cool folks are. I was over on YouTube. Yeah, if you're ever on YouTube, come over, hang out on Behance. There's lots of chat over here. I'm trying to catch it as it goes, but you guys are talking a lot and it's great. I love it. But if you have any questions, please, by all means, put it in the chat. I will relay it as we continue to talk through things. But sorry, back to you, Ram.
But shout out Gio. We killed it with this collab. It's one of my faves. I mean, that's all of them are my favorites. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, I mean, I personally really like the color one that you have here. I think that.
Oh no, that's
really
Gio.
cool.
Gio went off. Follow Gio. I Gio Jum. Follow him. Free shout out. Free shout out for Gio.
Which is incredible. Also, guys, yeah, Geo Jump. I can also go and I can take their stuff, and we can also go ahead. Oh, I already followed Geo. I didn't even realize that I already followed Geo.
Yeah, you've already followed Geo. Everybody should follow Geo.
But I'll go ahead. I'll put that in the chat for you. I
put it in chat. Everyone just follow, click. One of the most talented people I know.
Absolutely incredible stuff.
But yeah, so the collab I just decided to do a collab every week, and yeah.
What are some of the other one? What are the other collabs that you can kind of?
There's wait, what? That's that one's the donkey one. The donkey one's there. That's with Nathan Bennett. So I think I did yeah, because he does a lot of Instagram quotes. Okay. So I was like, all right, we got to do one, and I like playing photography, so I was like, let's combine it. Right. And I just did one every day. I did one with, I think that one is with Piper Ferrari, who was recently featured on Adobe. The one with Jesus on it. Not that one. Yeah, that one is me and Piper Ferrari. So,
and this distress looks, I mean, is phenomenal.
That's all Piper. Like, you know what I love doing with collabs is like I always love seeing their file and how people work, because it's very different from. I'm always interested.
How did you guys
learning.
Collaborate? Did you pass the file back and forth?
Yeah, we would just pass the file back and forth, and we would just go on. We just talk. Either we would just DM or email, and sometimes we would be on a call. For example, if you go, I think with Made by Nelson, we had a call on Discord. I think it's further down. I think it's the one with invoicing. I forgot what date it was, but we had a call. We would sometimes call and just talk about the whole. Yeah, there it is, chasing invoices. With this one, I told him like, okay, you gotta do your illustration, because he's great. He's doing great illustrations. And for the process, we were just actually on a call. A lot of people are interested in how to do collabs. You just gotta reach out to somebody, and whatever they're comfortable with, or however close you guys are, really depends on how you guys vibe. But with Nelson, I talked to him like a lot on Instagram, so we just decided to get on a Discord call and talk about this. Like, we were like changing things live. We were just like saying like, what if we do this? What if we move it up here? Like, do a little So, or sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes are you a layer namer, or do you live in who names their layers? Actually, wait, no.
Bold.
Okay, wait. I will. For my personal work, I do not name my layers because I have no time for that. But if it was for a collab, I kind of do. I at least put them in folders.
Oh,
I
you
at
just
least put them
backtracked
in
yourself
groups.
entirely. You're
I
like, I
almost,
never do that.
yeah, no, I
Kinda
never
and
do
I
that.
don't.
No, because I do. Oh shit, I do that. Because I feel self-conscious with I feel self-conscious when I'm sending a file to somebody. Like the one for Burrs letters, it was a mess, and I apologize to Burrs. I'm sorry, it was such a mess of a file because there were so many layers, and I'm like, I should have grouped them. And the one that really made me self-conscious was with Carolyn Dietl. With Carolyn, she's been on Adobe. We did a collab. Oh wait, I think it's like further down. It's like back in November, and it was like with like a dog and a raccoon, and I sent her the file.
Let's see if I can find it.
I sent her a file with the pictures and the layout. Oh, there it is.
This one, there you go.
Friends are pretty cool. I sent her the picture, and then before it was textured, and then I sent it to her. She does her thing. She sends it back, and first of all, it was in German. Because she's from Germany. First of all, my Photoshop file turned German. I was like, I can't read anything in this file, and it was so neat and organized, and I felt so subconscious. I was like, oh my god, Carolyn, like mine looks like crap, like how my files were organized. And ever since then, I was like, I'm just gonna like kind of do what Carolyn did with her file, because hers was so organized and neat, and everything was labeled. I mean, I don't think they were labeled, but they were just like structured in a way that makes sense. So I was like, oh, thank God. Like, but so ever since Carolyn, I was like, oh, okay, you know what? I gotta step it up a little bit.
You're like, I have to make all my files in German now.
Yeah, I was so confused. I was like, wait, how do I change it back? Because I could not. So yeah, there's like these, and sometimes I would literally just like email people, and we just kind of mesh. It really depends on how particular the other person is, or how you are as a person, as an artist. So you got to really learn how to give and take. Have you ever animated a poster concept? I did. There's a couple ones that are animated, not like majorly, not like a lot, but I was messing with After Effects and just like video posters.
Now, do you often hop into any After Effects, or is this kind of like your first exploration into it?
Well, Gio keeps telling me to get on After Effects. I don't usually hop on it, but I would like to do it more.
Right.
So I learned a few tricks on After Effects, but usually most 98% of the 365 was done on Photoshop. The other 2% were either Illustrator, some elements in Illustrator, and InDesign, and After Effects. Those are the four main. I would love to use InDesign more, but I don't have a lot of copy to work with. Which poster of yours do you think is underrated? Most of them are. Most of them are underrated.
So humble. So humble.
Sorry, all of them are under. Like, I don't know. There's some that I was like thinking like this is gonna be great, and it doesn't do great. The thing about Instagram is what you think will do great will not do great.
And what you think won't do great.
What you think will do great will pop off for some reason, which is, I don't know, you just got to go with the flow. Another advice I have for people who are undertaking the 365 is to really, and I think I did this because I'm a freelancer and I need, well, in the middle of it, once I realized it was viable, I was like, okay, I guess I'll do freelance. Once I started getting like clients, or and I, as a freelancer, you have to grow your audience. You have to, you've got to use Instagram as a platform. And I think also this made it, I like constraints as well. So, like I feel like giving yourself parameters that you can't get out of is good for creativity, because then it really goes hard. So I would do, and I stole this from like I don't know who the director was, but I would do one for myself and one for Instagram, or one for the algorithm.
Do it for the algorithm.
Do it, well, not but like in a way that like I know what my audience wants, and I say do it for the algorithm. I just learned what my audience wants. Like I know what will get likes from me, like from my work. And I know, I just know that. I think I just have a good feeling. But also, I didn't want to be too comfortable with that feeling, because like
Right.
the first instinct is, oh, I did this thing, it went off. Like, for example, the paper straw post. What if I just do that over and over again, but like change it a little bit? Like, I could have easily done that. That's
Right.
the easy way out. But for me, the 365 was not just being popular on Instagram. It was to grow myself as an artist, or
Yeah.
as a designer. So I was like, I'm not gonna do that, but I will do that because like I still enjoy it. I still have fun. So I do one for myself where I just do whatever I want. If it's a funny ad like poster, that's fine. If it's like experimenting with Illustrator or something weird, that's fine. And then the next one, I'll probably just do something funny.
See, but even with that, you're already like multiplying the amount of work that you have. And I know, you want to have constraints and stuff, and you're
Is it
already
multiplying my work? I don't know. I feel like I think it streamlines it. I don't know. It just like, I have a workflow. I do this, and well, it's not really a hard rule. I don't do like one this, one that, but like it's more of like, I can't just be making things for the algorithm. I gotta do one for my personal growth, and then one for reach. Like to reach new people. And I think that's what, I don't know what the director said was like, make your big budget big budget movie, and then you can make your little indie art house when you get the money, indie art house film. Because like, there's work that won't resonate with a lot of people, and some work that will resonate with a few people. And sometimes both of those, the thing that you want to make and the thing that resonates with the audience, is the same thing. There's an overlap. Sometimes a Venn diagram. There's a Venn diagram. Sometimes you hit that spot, but you can't always be aiming for that spot that people will like and what you like, because usually that.
Yeah, you gotta stay true to yourself too at the same time.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Brian is in the chat. He says, "Do any of the posters in your 365 represent pivotal moments for you?"
I laugh because, like, my personal. I don't know. Brian already knows this. Putting me on the spot, but there's some stuff like you could tell my mood from like some of these, like what is that one? Most of these is because I have a crush on somebody.
I was just wondering, do you have a crush on someone with this one? Was this like you were feeling excited about someone in this moment?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was 2/17, so it's been a while. Are you still talking to that person?
No.
Oh no.
No, nothing is going on. Nothing's going on.
Is there any heartbreak ones that we have going on here? Why won't you call me back? Where are those?
No, live, laugh, love. I don't know. There has to be some in there, but you could follow the through line. Oh, that one. This one is so great. Okay.
I love this one. It reminds me of Chicka Chicka Boom Boom.
I could tell you the backstory of this one. Because it's funny, because it's the story of this one is I was on Pinterest. Also, use a Pinterest. Get a Pinterest. It's my secret weapon. I couldn't have done the challenge without a Pinterest. And I have a Pinterest since like 2015. But I saw a thing on Pinterest for this.
You're gonna have the best wedding.
And then I do have a wedding Pinterest. So I'm gonna yeah, anyways, but I don't want to go into tangents. I just love tangents. But I saw something on Pinterest, and you know how sometimes it just automatically refreshes, and
yes, you lost it.
And I lost it, and there was like this arrow. There was like something like, I don't know. I just know it was like an arrow going through text, and I didn't pin it. I didn't save it. I couldn't find it in my history, and it was just in my mind. So I immediately went to Photoshop, and I outlined this, and I didn't figure it out. Like, this wasn't how it was before,
right?
But it was something.
You wanted to get it down, like you were saying.
I want to get it down. Yeah, I get it down, and I saved it as a draft. I think I even said that in this, but yeah, I was in a funk, and I liked this, but I decided to save it for later. Yeah, I saved it, and I let it marinate for a bit, and then I played around with it and realized how to do it. And actually, this is kind of like the direction I want to go in my future work. I've been playing a lot with shapes and just like type, and just like simple shapes. I've been looking at a lot of Paul Rand. Who else? Like I'm blanking right now, but yeah, a lot of the simple shapes, because I do a lot of photography, but I also want to just do shapes and just type because I love type a lot. This is Futura. This is Futura Bold, my favorite font of all time.
Yeah, how do you go about finding the typefaces that you want to use? Do you normally just stick to the same like 10, 15, or do you constantly try to add new ones?
I don't think I ever use more than 10.
Okay.
I'm kind of a
purist. I mean,
I'm
I
kind
think
of a
that's
font
definitely a way.
purist. I like I said, I like constraints. I like not a lot of choices, because then I could just play around with those choices. Because I just, yeah, I there's a lot of like mental energy expending from just like picking fonts, and I don't want to do that. Like,
Yeah.
so I just streamline everything. Like, okay, so I can only use these fonts. So I probably like name all the fonts to that. Would you do it again, but as a 366? 24 is a leap year. I might do it again, honestly. Who knows? I'm just so bored, guys. But
366.
I did. So I only had like Futura. I just love Futura. I've been using Futura ever since like in the newspaper days. And it's
Before
just
it was cool.
and it's just
Before it wasn't a Vampire Weekend song.
Wait, what?
I said you were using it before it was cool. Before it was
Yeah,
a Vampire Weekend
before
song.
Wes Anderson was using it. But I use Futura, Playfair, or not Playfair. Ram, what would you do if Futura was there? I would not be where I
You
am.
wouldn't be
I
a
would
designer anymore.
I would quit
You'd throw in the
design.
towel. You'd be done.
I would quit. I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. But I think I also did Ivy Presto, Mano Display, ITC Avant-Garde. That's a great one. Herb Lubalin is a great designer. Been looking at his work recently a lot too. And yeah, I just have like 5-10 fonts, and then I don't go out of that. Who said that? Like, you only need 5 fonts? Vignelli, somebody.
I'm awful at names.
Yeah, somebody said that, right? Like, you only need 5 fonts, and you know what? He's right.
He's right.
He's right.
I think it was actually even in the that Helvetica documentary that was big like 10 years ago. And I mean, Helvetica has fallen from grace, but still,
I'm a big Helvetica hater. So
yeah, no, for sure. It'll come back around. It always does. It's the same thing. There's a few questions that we were just in some conversations I wasn't able to call out, but Septimio Roman wants to know how you come up with the ideas for the posters.
Well, it honestly is, like I said, like depending on my mood. Like, I have a crush on somebody, I want to put that feeling pen to paper. If something's going on in the world that really annoys me, or something important is there that needs to, I have to say something. Well, I don't have to say something. It's just like, I believe I should say something. Like, and just anything funny that comes around, I just write it down. And so there's a lot of ideas, and I don't want people to do it. There's a fear, or there's like a concern. People say like, oh, you're clout chasing if you just do a political post, blah blah blah. Don't do that if you don't believe in it. Okay, like, don't do it just because this is gonna get likes on Instagram. Don't do that. Do your research. If you actually believed in it, make one. If you're compelled to, and I was compelled to, and this kind of, I think this is my background from like newspaper. I feel like I have a responsibility. I have a social responsibility to say something in terms of like what I believe in. In terms of this is what I believe in. Well, see, the page is very serious and very funny at the same time. So that's just me as a person, and this is already kind of like playing around with the idea of masculinity. You know? Like my page could be broken down to 3 tenets: funny posts, mental health, and politics. Those are the 3 things that I post about, and just funny things, politics, mental health. Because those are the 3 things that are important to me in my life.
And then you have that alongside,
universal healthcare. Yeah, so I was like, we need to do this, like wealth redistribution. These are all just me. And design has always been like used for social good. So like it's just And I
But this
felt
is one of
like,
the ones where I'm like, you did like 20 for one day.
well, I just I was just changing it. Well, actually, the workflow is sometimes doing copy is the harder part. Sometimes thinking of what to say. And I always usually start with what I want to say every day. It's like, what message? What is the message of this piece? Like, what am I trying to say? And then everything else comes after. Usually that's what it is. Like,
Yeah.
because like once I usually don't like, I like things with text on it. I just love things that say stuff.
Right.
I love, and what I try to do, I hope I achieve this, is that I hope that all the copy that I have meant something, like that it was of substance, of, it was, because I hate things that were just like big word.
Yeah.
It just says nothing. And I'm like,
Right.
that doesn't resonate with anybody. And I think I owe my success to like, the other tenets of OversetText is legible, shareable. Should I say the two, the submissive, readable? Those are the other two, but the first two are the best.
Legible and shareable.
Legible and shareable. The other ones are optional, but legible and shareable. And that's just my journalism professor being in my head. It's like it needs to be legible, and I know not everything needs to be legible, but for me personally,
it's important.
People sometimes just scroll past if it's not legible.
I mean,
can't see
you
that.
gotta assume that no one wants to give you the time of day.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta really, because we live in an attention economy, and if you don't grip their attention immediately, you're not gonna be seen. So
yeah. And then Kyle in the chat a little bit ago was saying, do you ever get inspiration from movie posters?
I do, actually. I do. I think one of my new ones was from the Vertigo. I don't really tend to get inspired by like just random pieces. I usually just like look at a body of work of an artist and just kind of like see how they tick.
Right.
And that's kind of what I did with Tom McElligott and Ron Anderson. I was like, oh, these guys is what I want. I wish I lived in that era. I wish I was like an art director in the 70s. That would have been sick. But yeah, I don't really inspiration. I always say inspiration is everywhere. Like not just from graphic design. It's just like from music, from your own feelings, from outside, from what's going on in the world. It's everywhere. You just got to write it down and decide what you're trying to say. Like have something to say. Like because like you could just make something pretty, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. But for me personally, like the work I want to do, or like I said, like you got to make the work that you want to see in the world, and that's the work I want to see. It's just like something I want people to believe in something and say it with your chest.
Sorry.
Oh, cat, special guest. Cat.
We have a visitor up against the microphone.
What's your cat's name?
His name's Roscoe, but he likes to literally come here and just put his face as close to the mic and then meow. And
Roscoe, what does Roscoe think about my design? That's the question.
I don't know. He was a little scared. We set up a projector last night, and he was scared because we watched Everything Everywhere All at Once last night.
Great
it's
movie.
A very loud movie.
Yeah, I made a poster
not into that.
I didn't make a movie poster for that, so I was like,
you did though. That's how I honestly I just like saw it as I pulled up. I'm gonna have Zach Bromberg on later today, and we're actually gonna be talking about the editing behind it and how
that's great.
It was only edited by I think 8 people.
Yes, in Premiere.
After Effects in Premiere, yeah.
In Premiere. That's crazy.
Which is just knowing that when I was going as well into everything was just I'd been meaning to see it and I hadn't to.
Oh, it's so good. It's one of the probably top 3 movies of all time for me.
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite movies now.
I was like, but yeah, I made that. So I actually did more. I think in the beginning, I kind of didn't have a lot of ideas. I didn't know my voice yet, so I did a lot of music stuff and a lot of movie stuff. But then once I figured out my style or whatever, I could say what I want. I kind of stopped doing that. Also, it's because I was thinking of commercial purposes.
Right.
That once I started using, once I started the print shop, I always thought in commercial. Sorry, guys, I have to make money. I always started.
But also,
purposes.
Currently, print shop's on hiatus. So.
Oh yeah, it's currently on hiatus.
2 days before we went live.
2 days. Yeah, sorry. So I see that I'm telling you guys, people say that I'm a sellout. No, I'm not a sellout. Look, I could be making so much money right now. If I didn't close the store, I'm not a sellout. Don't say that about me. But but I have a special. I might show it off today.
I mean, it would be cool. I mean,
Uh,
that does actually just remind me. We do have a few other things that we want to get through.
yeah.
Naf wants to know when the
So,
Roscoe offset
yeah,
context collab will happen.
send me a photo. I'll put them in.
Make it happen.
I'll make
The
that
next
happen.
366 one, remember?
Yeah, one of the
But something that you've brought up a few times, and I think is really important to your work, is that you have a background in journalism. You worked for a newspaper, and you have this inspiration from artists that have also kind of worked in this branding and the idea of fast-paced advertising and what have you. So let's check out with some art talk. So you brought him up a little bit earlier, Tom McElligott or McElligott.
McElligott. Yeah, I don't know how to say his name. I've never said it out loud.
That was like last night when it was Waymond rather than Raymond.
Oh yeah, Waymond. Yeah, Waymond.
Yeah, and I was like, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I've never heard it before either. I thought I was like, like mishearing it. Like, was it Waymond? Like Waymond?
Well, that was the other thing. I also, growing up, I had a speech impediment where I couldn't say my R's, which
I thought wild. I thought that was that. I was like, okay. Well.
But they'd be like, okay, say girl, and I'd be like, go, and they'd say, all right, say like Oscar, and I'd be like, Oscar. And they say Ryan, and I go Ryan, and they'd be like, "What?
Oh, yeah. How come you could say Ryan, but not the other ones?" That's funny.
So I had, I guess, selective R syndrome, but I keep talking about everything everywhere all at once.
No, it's a great movie.
Everyone needs to watch racking it. My head today.
Everyone needs to watch it.
Yeah. But Tom McElligott,
Tom. Yeah,
he worked alongside, who was the other guy that you mentioned?
Ron Anderson. Tom was the copywriter, and I did my research on them during the thesis. Tom was the copywriter, so he would do the copy, and then Ron, rest in peace, would do the art direction, I think. And
which is amazing.
This is what I looked at when I had no idea. It's because I don't know. I just like words. I like wordplay. I like puns. I like clever, witty things. And this was just like my inspiration. I looked at their stuff and I kept trying to think, like, how can I recreate it or use it for my purposes?
Right.
You know.
And I can see similarities too. I mean, you have this like large type that beautiful serifs that the kerning is really tight. I mean, the tracking's really tight.
Yes, that's the most important thing, guys. If you want to copy me, and I know a lot of you guys are trying to, which I don't care, but like, please just make the tracking and letting really tight. And this is what, and I guess this is like a little bit of a inside the process. Like if you look at this, the first two line on the right side, you see that the tracking or the letting is so tight. You see that the Y and the H, the descenders and ascenders are like, if they were, that's why like the copy is important, like how it lays out. Like this is just how my brain works. Like how the copy, what it says, also needs to work with the design. You see how like in conclusions and people, and you see the P and the L, they're like almost gonna collide, but they don't. That's what I love. Like when the letting and the copy work together and they all fit like a puzzle, it feels so good. Like see the E and the I, they're almost like colliding, but they don't. And
as close as possible without anything overlapping.
As possible without any overlapping. But the problem is sometimes that the copy doesn't work. Because like, you would have a word that doesn't work and then like things do collide and it looks stupid. So most of my work is like trying to come up with something that says something and that the design works, like, the letting and everything works.
Yeah, because letters are shapes too. And
kind of shapes.
To then take the meaning behind it, but also then making it so it works visually.
Yeah, so that's also a bad haircut can be a real nightmare. See, that's just simple. Oh yeah, this will those people who haven't, the Red Cross one, that one. I think
It's
there's another one with
wild.
a tornado. There's a
Yeah.
wild one with like water. I don't know if you have that one, but like I cannot figure out for the life of me how they did the distortion on the water and the text. I was like, how did they do this?
Going back to your first one where you
Yeah.
were obsessing over the
But I don't know how they did it. They didn't have Photoshop back in the day. So I was
right.
like, how did they do the? I don't know, but these ones directly, and I think that is Futura. So these one directly like influenced my work, and like a
Right.
bad haircut could be a real nightmare. That like I like pictures and text, and then how those two relate to each other, and it's just funny. Like look at that haircut. It's just like I think they won an award for that in the ad.
How do they really?
Whatever.
They also
Yeah,
had one. I think it was Albert Einstein as well. And
I was like, a
didn't
bad
mind
haircut could
throwing
be a real
any-
life. Yeah. So I was like, these are just so clever and funny and witty, and
But
I
also they
love
can
it.
deal with some serious things. I mean, it's literally like pictures of people drowning on the left, and them being like, you need to have the Red Cross because there's people raise their hands who have life saved. Like that's wild. But it's like it's humor, tongue in cheek. Obviously, I don't think it's.
It's not funny, but
drowning.
like, it's not actually people drowning, but it's to really catch your attention. And
absolutely.
I mean, that's like what I got taught in school or in journalism. Was like, you got to really catch your attention because, like, if they're walking by, well, we had actual newspapers.
Yeah.
So if the audience was like, I always thought like the audience was like a kid walking in the campus. Like, how will I grab their attention if they were just glancing at it? Oh yeah, I love these
even
ones.
to like this point of like this is talking about advertising and the idea of being able to advertise on a train stop for buses. But
yeah, it's funny that they're using Futura condensed bold. I saw like an old ad about art directors against Futura condensed extra bold. Like, apparently, they were just like, we need to stop this. They were sick of it then, but I'm not sick of it now. I love Futura extra condensed.
It's always opinions. It's always a battle, uphill battle.
Yeah, I was like, no, guys, I'm gonna use it. I love this font. It's so dependable, But yeah, I would literally, that page that I sent you, I would just, if I'm out of ideas or like feeling uninspired, I would just scroll down and just look at it and like, no, okay, like this is.
But it's also interesting. This kind of is a little reminiscent of Red Bull, but obviously this predates it by decades. But I thought it was interesting, kind of those illustration styles, but also mixing with the type.
Yeah, Tom really changed the game. Like, and he retired too. He thinks 99% of advertising sucks. There was like a podcast, and I listened to it. Like, he was a massive hater of advertising.
But he's good at it. So
but he was so good at it, and he stopped. And I was like, damn, like he could have gotten bigger, but he stopped, I think, and now he's retired in Minneapolis or something. So I was like,
I mean, it has a beautiful portfolio of it. I really like this one on the left. That has I'm actually gonna get rid of us just so we can see it. But it says that our designer furniture isn't exactly cheap, but from now until September 30th, at least it's cheaper.
Yeah. See, there's so many things to like steal, and I don't know. I mean, there's that book
to it,
Yeah, there's a personality, and like I really wanted to like, how can I do this for my work? Like, I want to show off my personality, because like, I don't know, like I feel like we're always kind of, as designers, we always want to do what the client does, right? Or what the client wants, and I feel like sometimes we forget how to make work for ourselves.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
have fun with it, So yeah, this page. Oh yeah, these are just clever. These are just so funny. Especially the bus stop one. I was like,
I don't know. I like the Passion Vine one. If you think this is juicy, try
one of our 6. I was like, oh. Yeah, it's just so funny. I was just like, okay, like I gotta, and like how could what picture can I use to like really, be clever? It's funny because I'm like watching Mad Men right now. I've never seen Mad Men.
It gets wild. It gets even bigger than just advertising. It gets weird things start happening.
Okay, so I'm only on like season 3, so I've been really getting into it. I was like, oh wow, that was I wish literally the first scene of Mad Men when he's like writing on like a tissue. I was like, that's literally me trying to come up with things for Instagram.
Except it's your little notepad on
yeah, a
your
little notepad. I was like,
yours.
and not smoking. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just on my, I was just in my desk, like, what do I
Well,
do?
that's the other
What's
thing.
so
I
funny?
remember I was talking about Mad Men in a class, and we were talking about how the idea of Mad Men is a reflection and commentary on the time. Whereas, like,
Hmm.
if it was made in that time, you wouldn't see the same things. But like now that we also know a lot about the time, like they make a point to show all the smoking. They make a point to show how drunk everyone was at work all the
Yeah.
time. And it's just it's a very well made show. Really like Mad Men.
Yeah, no, it's
Um,
great. I'm getting through it. But I mean, I wish I was a copywriter. I wish. I
Yeah, it
mean
just seems like these are the ones that, like, when I worked for an agency, I would almost put in as a joke and be like, the client will never go for that, so we're not even gonna go for it. But then they're out here, they're doing they're saying, if you think this is juicy, try one of our steaks, which is
Oh
just
yeah, these ones. Oh, wait, that one was like, thank God we didn't use Fujifilm. I was like, damn, is that
yeah,
even allowed anymore? Can you even
right.
mention competitors?
And this one is
Uh,
just a note to remind you that an orchestra needs everyone's support, and it's just
it's so
one little note.
simple. It's so
So simple.
simple.
Takes up
Like,
so much space and no space at all.
I mean, this is what I mean about like this is how my brain works. It's like, and this is just how I work in my ideas. It's just that I don't really want to do a lot of work. I'm just gonna like, if it's a simple idea that works and I don't really have to do that much work, I think that's great. Like, I'm just working smarter.
Yeah.
My philosophy is work smarter, not harder. I mean, you can, and there's a place for that. But for me personally, once I get that idea, once everything clicks and it's clever, it works with the copy, it's symbolism, like the symbolism works, I think that's great. And sometimes it's simple, you don't even have to do much. And I think that's always what my work is going for. It's like simplicity. Don't really want to think that much, because, well, I have
Yeah, I mean,
anxiety.
like, even
uh
it's this one. I mean, obviously, it's a little pertinent, and it makes
mm,
sense to what's happening right now. But you even have this one. It's just literally just a coat hanger, and just it's not
yeah,
a medical tool, which is powerful.
yeah,
But I mean, you can do this in 10 seconds.
yeah, actually that
Not
was
to say that it
inspired
did,
by,
but you know what I
yeah,
mean.
it was inspired by old advertising that used the same things. So I was like, all right,
Yeah,
let's, unfortunately we have to bring it back.
yeah. But it's
So
just to say that, like, you don't have to put a lot of time into doing like really intricate, like dots all
mhm.
over a page to make a powerful message.
Yeah, so, and this is a reminder for everybody to support safe abortions, support people with uteruses. We need to keep them safe. But yeah.
No.
Uh yeah, I
So
those were
that's all the
actually
ones that I had
old.
loaded though
Yeah.
for the different examples of the journalism ones. But I think that, yeah, I think coming from your journalistic background, where did you just work for a like a newspaper
I
in
worked at
school,
the
or
Fresno City College newspaper. That's where I got my start in designing. Actually, uh, that's where I started designing. Like, what I didn't even design. Actually, I was a photographer at some point. I was a photography first, and then I saw how ugly the layout was, and I was like, I need to change this. I mean, it's called The Rampage. My name's in there, so I was like,
right?
I don't want to. And actually, my villain origin story for this was, we were doing a magazine, and I just wanted to change something, and I didn't know InDesign at this point. And one of the editors was like, "Ram, stop touching that," like, because he was just in a bad mood, and he told me to stop touching the layouts. I was like, "All right, you know what? I don't know shit, so I will stop."
Right.
And that really made me spiteful.
Yeah,
so,
no, I mean, I can make a
uh,
rift in a work relationship.
so I decided to learn InDesign, and look where I am now.
And
And
now you're mostly using Illustrator and Photoshop, right?
just Photoshop. Well, now
Just mostly Photoshop?
I'm starting to use Illustrator, but now I am on Photoshop.
Oh, really? Even
So
with these like text heavy pieces, you're mostly in Photoshop?
yeah, most of
Oh,
those are
wow.
in Photoshop because I don't really like Illustrator. Well, now I'm starting to like it, but most of the other ones are. Yeah, I know I'm Team Photoshop, but I am starting to figure out why everybody loves Illustrator so much. I'm getting
They
it.
work together. It's a
I
harmonious
Yeah, no,
relationship.
that is what I do now. I don't
Yeah.
like people who say like, oh, it's one or the other. I get it. Like, you gotta use Illustrator. I now my workflow is I do the layout in Illustrator, and then I texture it in Photoshop. But the only problem with Illustrator right now is that because like my workflow does a lot of photo manipulation,
Okay.
so and that sometimes affects the layout, so it's just hard to do it in Illustrator. I just haven't figured it out, but
Yeah, what I normally do is I'll kind of create the elements that are a little bit more vector heavy, and I'll probably bring them into Photoshop and either then rasterize them or make them into smart objects. So then you can then go and kind of have that connection where you drag and drop. But there are times where I start making something in Illustrator and I'm like, actually, no, I'm just gonna hop over to Photoshop. It's easier if I just distort the crud out of it, and then I don't think that I need to make it so it's scalable. I think as long as I make it big enough. So I can definitely see the connection.
But most of those are still in Photoshop. But 99% of them, 98, 99.
Right.
So I did most of that. But I did, I got into newspaper design, and then I became the layout editor. Honestly, my first Adobe program was Adobe InDesign, and that's where I learned. I love InDesign. That's actually the origin of my name is OversetText. If you've ever worked in InDesign, you know how dreaded that error is. Like
when you go to export something.
Yeah, it's like, where's the OversetText? Where is it? Well, if you don't, for the people who don't know what OversetText is that if you have a text box and there's like text coming out of the frame of the text box, there's like overflowing overset text. There's it'll be on the bottom, like on the pre-flight thing. And I chose that name because I don't like names that had like .psd. No offense to people who do that, but I didn't want to do like my name .psd or something .design or whatever.
Right.
And my name was taken, so I was like, well,
was it really?
Or Ram Reyes is taken, so I was like, well, I don't want to be. I just wanted like a simple word,
right?
And OversetText was not taken, so I was like, oh, okay, I'll be OversetText.
Is the other Ram Reyes a designer or illustrator?
No, I
artist?
think it's like I think he does karate or something.
Or like, he's like an accountant.
He's also a Filipino, but like he has like, I think he does like, I don't know, martial arts something. I don't know. I need to talk to him.
Get in contact, work on the brand recognition of the name. He'd be like, we're in this together, so like either I have to learn martial arts or you have to learn graphic design.
Yeah, it's like I gotta fight him for it. But I mean, I like OversetText as a name. It's kind of a brand.
No, it's wonderful. And then real quick, while I just have it on the mind of Art Talk, you have a bunch of posters behind you. What are the posters behind you?
Oh, okay. So I can show you. This was made by a Palestinian artist. I think Kel Lauren linked it. It's in their store.
Is it a Rezo print or
I think it is. I'm not sure. This is by Dante.
What's the small text say?
It says just Pantone Peri. I think it's very Peri, like the Pantone color of the year. This is by Amu Vision on Instagram, also on Twitter. He was a huge believer in me. Day one, he said like, you're gonna blow up, and I didn't even believe him. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna blow up. But this is print, and then this is a
whole wall even above that.
There's a whole wall. This is a print from Madrid by Francois Gagoya. I saw that painting in real life. This is by Piper Ferrari. This is also by Dante. And this is by Permanent Glue and Archfiend on Instagram. Everybody follow Archfiend and Jesse.
That's great. You have quite the gallery behind you.
Yeah, I have.
And cool. It's like from a collection of different artists too. You
know? The special surprise is here. But
hey,
that's my baby right there.
Of course.
And then, but I mean, you guys already saw it, but I guess, well, for the people who made it here, for the people who made it to this point of the VOD or the stream, you guys deserve a special announcement, little treats. The reason why the store was closed is because these will be on sale. These are rare. These are one of ones.
So
holographic prints, guys. This is the future.
And that's actually my favorite poster of the ones. I know we talked about this a little bit in the pre-interview, but it was funny. I was like, this is the one that I'm thinking about getting. I'm gonna get the green one.
Well,
You know, you're talking about the shop shutting down or whatever, and then he's like, well, I actually have this I have this announcement that is going to come up soon. I'm like, what? Did you make it holographic? And he's
yeah,
like,
it was so funny. He
what?
predicted it. I was like, wow, how did you know? Like, are you like also let me show you the other ones because
I just immediately came to me because I was just thinking of like Charizard. What would make me like want something more? And if it as soon as it's holographic, you know. But it looks so sick. It looks great.
These are all gonna be. This is a No More Thinking one.
No More Thinking, great.
Look at that. Ooh. And then
did you use this with a print on demand service?
No,
or
it was a print in LA. It's a printer in LA. That's why I was in LA this weekend and visited some cool friends. And they take forever. These take forever to make.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They're UV printed or something. I don't know the technology behind it, but I paid a lot of money. But so this is I really got it. So
you even got the one for the paper straws one. That has to be hard to do, especially because you then have to like isolate the fire on the ocean and then
look at the fire
stuff. That's really cool.
But these will be on auction, guys. I've only made 3 of these. I don't know. Follow my Instagram and I'll make a formal announcement later. But you guys are getting a first look of how. Oh God! Thanks for the plug, Naf.
Naf's doing great. I really appreciate you guys having all your questions, all your comments in the chat. It's really nice to have over on Behance.
Yeah. And, but those will be on auction some point next week. So somebody please give me a lot of money.
Give me for that money.
If you guys can spend a lot of money on NFTs, you can spend a lot of money on this one.
Trying to think of some overlap of hologram with NFT, but there's no sharing letters, so I don't even know.
Yeah. So those are that's why they're closed, because the website will be dedicated to these 3.
Well, I'm very excited for you. I'm excited to see them go out. I'm hoping that they raise a lot of money for you. We're a little over an hour into our show, which means we still have like 45 minutes left or so. But this is a really great time to take a break and be able to stretch it out a little bit. So we're gonna do some monkey paws. So Monkey Paws is originally taught to me from Anna Davis Court, who is an illustrator on Behance as well. And she is a storybook illustrator for children's books. Really great. But she really makes a point to take care of her hands, take care of her wrists, because obviously if we go down with carpal tunnel or something else, it's not going to be a good look for your work when I can't do any work.
I'm scared of that.
So also, you are more than welcome, Ram, to either do this along with us, or if you want to go take a bathroom break or you want to stretch out, it's all up to you. But I'm just going to walk you through kind of doing some of these monkey paws. So it's these 4 easy. Easy is subjective because they also can kind of hurt. But what you're going to do is you're going to put both hands out like this.
Oh. Okay.
All right. And then you're going to go and you're going to bring them into monkey paws. So you're going to bring them down like this. Ooh, ah, ah.
Ooh, ah.
Yeah, the noises make a big difference for you. And you release. All right. And you can go down like this. Bring them on in. Ooh, ah, ah. This one is what I kind of start feeling. If it hurts at all, make sure you stop. You don't want to hurt yourself. Don't strain it too much. You can even do like a little pulsing if you want. I'm not a medical professional, but then the next one is you kind of leave it out, like you give it to the camera, bring it in, ooh, ah, ah. And then my least favorite, but the most effective for me that I need to do more often is you then bring them to then face yourself and bring it in. And ooh, ah, ah, and it's great. And I feel it in my wrists. Oh, so you want to shake it up a little bit. Also a really good time to also think about
that actually feels good. Whoa.
Drinking water, stretching your neck.
Dude, my neck has been killing me.
Here, working and lurking, sitting in front of your computer for hours at a time. But yeah, all right. So let's just do it one more time right through the 4 ones, then we can get back into what we have. So We're going to forwards, bring it in. I just normally hold it for like, I don't know, like 3 to 5 seconds, you know, just enough that I can kind of feel it, kind of like a stretch before a run or something. And down, bring it in. It is getting better though. Every time I do these offset takeovers, I do them twice a day.
Oh, really?
And so then I suddenly at the end of the week, I'm like, oh, my hands feel great.
Yeah, this feels good, actually. I was like,
yeah, no, it really, honestly, you can tell it actually is doing something because you can actually kind of feel it in ways that you don't otherwise. But I just have to get in the habit of doing it even when I'm not doing the offset takeover. But those are monkey paws. So thank you to
I might have to do that.
Anna Davis Corp. So we've looked at some of your work that you've done with the 365 challenge. Looked at some of your inspiration, but one of my favorite things to do also is to see how you have grown as an artist even before you started doing the 365 challenge. So let's check out from this to that.
From this to that.
So you were kind enough to send over some of the ones that you have done in the past, and the ones obviously that we've actually pulled up a few of these on the stream while we were talking about it. But I wanted to go through and just kind of talk about comparisons of things that you feel like you have improved on, things that you have learned, things that you have abandoned, and other things you picked up. The one you sent me off is something from the Rampage, and this is
shout out for the city.
It's got one of those things where it's humor in the weirdest way, but obviously not humor.
Yeah, it's like there was a debate over this front page,
but it's impactful though.
Actually, I should have sent you the inside page. The inside page was more impactful as well because it was.
I mean, I felt like this one was strong in itself.
Oh, the inside, because there's like turn to page 9. I think that. The page 9 was like, it just said enough, and it was just pictures of everybody who died.
Oh man.
So it was like I said, simple, effective, you know. And this was in 2017, so the debate, I think it's gotten worse. But I think the idea behind this is like, you know, it's just like it was kind of routine, like, you know, those accident signs on construction sites, and there was actually a shooting in Fresno when this happened, where I live, where Fresno City is. So it was just very pertinent. It was very, you know, it was very topical. But and yeah, there was a lot of conversation. So the process with like newspaper front pages is I would always just I would have my editor in chief, the writer or whoever's writing it, and then me, the layout editor. So we would talk about, like, I would show them my concept, and then they would either say that doesn't work, or either change the copy. They would help me with the copy of how to say it. And usually, in terms of the Rampage or just newspaper design in general, I couldn't really do much. That's what I think. From this to that, like, in terms of like content, it's still kind of the same. Like, it's current events, but in terms of like what I wanted to say, I was very constrained. Like, there's a lot of ideas in the Rampage, or just in my career as a newspaper designer, that got shut down.
I feel like that's all part of the newspaper though, because it takes a village to
exactly, which is and I'm kind of a very opinionated person, to say the least. I have thoughts, and we would have massive debates. Sometimes we would all harmoniously agree on things, but you know, there was but yeah, from this to that, I mean, I feel like my personality hasn't changed. It's just like now I'm just doing it for myself. And the thing about OversetText is that, and I had lunch with my journalism professor like a month ago. I was like, and I was kind of telling her, like, look at me now, Dipna. Her name's Dipna. Look at me now, Dipna. I'm a niche internet micro celebrity. I'm unleashed now. You know, I don't have you anymore telling me what to do. Because I was like,
she loved that.
No, but I learned.
She actually honestly did too, though.
No, she did.
Know that you, like,
we love. Yeah, me and her, I always thought that she was doing it for like, she taught me a lot. But she kind of like reined me in, like to uh for good, honestly, like to like direct me, because I have some wild ideas. I had like this idea that I never got to do, and maybe one day I will, where it was like the front page would be the front, but then the very back page was the front, but like you would see it from the back, like like
Oh, that's so cool. So it's like everything
like
would be flipped almost, and then
yeah,
it'd be
yeah,
like a
yeah.
translucent sort of vibe. I think that's really cool.
I couldn't find a story. Like, so the thing, what I learned from this also is that you need to have the design work with the content.
Right.
Just because it looks cool doesn't make doesn't mean it works with the story. Like, it
Right.
has to support, like, and I think I say this all the time, like, designers, as artists, or as designers, I guess, we're support. Like, I'm just here to help the writer tell their story. Like, my job is to grab people's attention and get them to read the story.
Yeah.
And I still kind of do that today with my work, is that my job is, I'm not smart. I'm not, I mean, I am, but I'm not the guy in the front lines doing the stuff, but I will bring awareness to this, and I will direct you to the things that are happening,
Right.
and bring this to your attention, because I feel like you do need, like, that's my job as a designer. Like, we all play a part in this, in my part, and I'm not gonna say that I'm saving the world by doing my posts. I'm merely doing my part.
And you're using your platform kind of, as you were talking
using
about,
my
how like, you
platform,
felt like you
because,
had
like,
a social responsibility for it.
yeah, because like I think a lot of designers are a little bit too self-important. Like, oh, my design's gonna save everything. Like, no, it's not. Like, you make fonts, you put funny pictures and words together. Like, it's not that serious, guys. And the people who are actually doing stuff are out there doing stuff, and I'm just here to support them. I'm just here for support, and hopefully I'm doing my part. But that's kind of like where my thinking is, because like the writer did most of the stuff. Like, they did the work. I'm just here to make sure that people see it and read it.
Right.
So,
but I think something that when you were talking about kind of like the idea of legibility first, it makes me think of that that magazine spread. It was from David Carson back like in the 90s, where they ended up posting this entire article in Dingbats.
I've never seen this. That's funny.
No, it was this surfing magazine. It was this guy. It was designer David Carson. It was this spread with Brian Ferry, who's a surfer. And they posted this entire in like a physical magazine. The entire thing was in Dingbats, and obviously it was illegible. But then you would have to go back to the index in the back of the magazine, and then like in this weird appendix, they just had the article without any of the design, but then you could actually read the article, and it was like this big deal, because it was like legibility versus the idea of
that's so fun. This is
design, and I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm kind of like, okay, cool, but then you don't have design for the article, like
I mean, this is funny, because like I was telling my Dipna, my professor, like, she was very much like, we need to do it the proper way. I'm like, we're a newspaper in Fresno, like not even a real newspaper. We're like a college newspaper.
Right.
We could break some rules, like the rules of newspaper design, because like, and I was really pushing for that, because like we could do a lot of cool stuff on print, because like once it's printed, like this is a big, like even this is a big statement, because you're printing this, like like we're using real paper to print this thing. And I always thought that the front page was a place to really make a statement,
make choices, make statements.
Because before it was just like very boring. Like the story starts, and then like I'm like, no, we're gonna make it look like a poster. Like I wanted, like one of the arguments I made was like, we need to make it so that people will take a photo on their phone and share it on Instagram. Like, it has to be shareable, like shareable, legible. So, and that all started all the way back then, was I started there. I mean, the in terms of like the actual making of that poster, that was all made in InDesign. I didn't know Photoshop then. I mean, I'm looking at this now, and also we did talk about like how brutal it looked. I was like, Dipna, people are dying. We need to put.
Yeah, the
We gotta,
brutal topic, brutal design.
we gotta show. We gotta
hand in hand.
show. Yeah, we gotta show what's actually happening. But
yeah.
oh,
Next
this
one we have this diversity magazine that you have, and I paired it with this one because obviously you have
that's a good
better grasp on the ideas of gradients and backgrounds and the idea of kind of also in the design world. Over my experience, it was interesting to grow up in an idea where everyone was crazy about computers because Microsoft Word was making it so you could add gradients to absolutely everything and all the word art, to then that automatically going straight to like gradients are the devil, to then now Instagram is a gradient.
Everybody loves gradients.
It's been this strange roller coaster.
I was wondering if when gradients is gonna come out of style, but maybe never. Now
been a while. It's been a minute since they've been back.
I do remember that. I do remember that time where nobody wanted to use a gradient. That's like you're a beginner. And I just want to respond to Alex says, "Pictures worth 1,000 words. Design rules and copy is just a glorified sidekick." I don't think so. I think they need to do both. I feel like
work
especially
hand in hand.
Yeah, they work hand in hand.
I don't know who the superhero is and who the sidekick is as much as maybe it's just like the Avengers.
It's like the Avengers, yeah, exactly. But this was I worked for the Business Journal right after the Friends of Business Journal right after college. Like I got hired day one. Okay. I didn't even have time to like have a vacation. They just hired me. And I'm really proud of this one because I also took this picture. I took their picture. That the woman on the right is Irma. She is the CEO of like the tech, the burgeoning tech community in Fresno.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot the kid's name on the left, but he has a local business where he bakes cookies. And this was kind of the first issue of the Business Journal where it was for people of color, and I was put in charge of this for the design because like usually the other designer or the senior designer was doing most of it, and this as a new hire, this was my first project where I was just.
It's a lot to take on as a new hire.
Yeah. Well, I think this happened a couple months later, but like I finally got the opportunity, and I had this vision because and I always said this about like photography. I feel like people of color never got their chance to be featured in black and white. I don't know, because like I wanted to. I don't know. I just like black and white photography, and I feel like people of color never got their chance to be in Vogue or whatever. And I wanted to make like Vogue. I wanted to be like, I wanted to be like very glamorous, or I don't know. But I took this photo. I directed them. So I had I controlled, except for the stories, I controlled every creative decision of that project. So I really enjoyed that project. I'm very proud of it. The inside layout was also all me. So I loved it. Yeah. And the one on the right, that was just me being I just kept seeing like stuff that was like not true on gradient backgrounds. There's a lot of infographics. And I'm like, all right, guys, just because it's like nicely designed and infographic doesn't mean it's true. This is actually the first post that got 1,000 likes, I think, for me. And this is before the paper straw one. So this was very early on. And I was just getting frustrated. That was born out of frustration. And I say that like even my post, you could like correct me. I might not listen, but I will listen, but I'm not gonna respond. But you guys just gotta like really think for yourselves here, and do your research and come to your own conclusions. Just don't share stuff just to share stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean design is impactful and social media is impactful, and sharing is all within the thing. Real quick, just to touch on one of the things where you're saying is you never feel like people of color had a chance with black and white. Andre Laro, who is also very familiar with Adobe Live and on Behance, actually has a really cool segment on his website, and it's all about how to shoot it and edit darker skin tones, which I think is really cool. I learned a lot from watching it, and I just the link in the chat for everybody else. But I think that's a really good point.
Sick.
And it's also, great to see.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is while we were talking, George was saying gradients are forever. Good trends always will come
they
back.
always come back. It's just a cycle.
Yeah.
Which
even I think what's it called? Skeuomorphism, which is the ability to kind of make things on screen look like they're physical, was really big when the first iPhone came out, then went away, and now it's back with a different look, but like redefined. And I think that was another way of me really seeing. Also, I was getting older, with fashion trends and like jeans coming back that I had forever ago. It's like, oh, my parents always warned me that everything was cyclical, but like now I'm experiencing it in many different facets.
I mean, I think it's like actually getting faster. Like the cycles are getting faster because like right now I don't even know what era we're in because like there's like Y2K, there's like the 70s design. There's just everything is everything is happening all at once. So
everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah, everything everywhere all at once is any trend. You just pick a trend, you could do it.
Just merge them together too. You can wear bell bottoms with a Y2K, tube top, and
I don't know. Like, there's no like predominant like style right now, and I feel like so, but it could be anything.
Next, I had to include this one because I love this one.
Love
Reyes. I think might be one of my favorite posters, aside from the one that you are experiencing the universe. But that's just the wavy davy in my head. But I thought this was really interesting, kind of your connection to type and the bold choices that you make now with whereas like this one, it seemed like maybe type was secondary and the visual was primary.
I always just work with like, I always loved, as a photographer, I love strong photography and just like simple photography. And then I just, that was actually, it's funny because like that the hunger issue, there was also a huge debate about this front page. It's also my last front. It was also my last front page. That was the last one I did for the Rampage before I graduated and transferred to Fresno State. So it was just like, I think I took the photos and we were just debating like, does it make sense? Like, I don't know. Which is good because sometimes you're so in your head about an idea. And like, and then
it evolves so much too.
And then or like you kind of get lost in the plot. Like, does it even work? Like, or sometimes when you have like when you're just looking at the same file forever and then you forget how things are spelled. But we were just talking a lot about the photography, if it made sense, if it like tied in with the story. I think it does. I definitely
took it right away of exactly what I was talking about before I even can read the type. And I mean, I think that's also a big thing. It's like, put it in a different language that you don't understand, and can you still get the same point across even if you don't understand what it says? Which just kind of goes back to the dingbats thing. But with the dingbats thing, that was a whole article. So that's different.
But we were just talking. There's always like conversation, which I guess from this, I think I actually, now that you mentioned this, I guess I did learn a lot about collaboration in the Rampage because it taught me like I need to talk to people and be like, hey, and maybe that's why I did the 30 collabs, because I enjoy working with people, and I'm pretty flexible because in terms of like, and I forgot this point about collabs. There always seems to be like the dominant person in the collab. Like there's always like the person leading it. It's like a dance. You got to lead, and you got to know who's leading and who's and
I don't know which one I prefer, to be honest, because like
I
want to lead, and then other times I'm like, wait, no, I don't want to be the alpha here.
Exactly. There's you got to know the vibe, and with Gio, I think I don't know. Sometimes it's equal because I told Gio like, here's the idea, I started it, and then I sent it over, and then he went with his own thing, and that's where you got to like let go of control a little bit, like because like maybe you have an idea in your head or what it should be, but you're working with another person, so you gotta like go along with it. Or if you really strongly feel something about how something should be done, then you have a conversation with the other person. Communication, compromise, or whatever. But I found myself like being pretty flexible. Sometimes if the person has a really strong idea, I was like, all right, let's go with that. And usually I agree with it. It's just like, that's great. I think 99% of the times I agree with, and there was no disagreements.
Right.
But yeah.
And then in the chat, Alex just kind of talking about our previous conversation was just saying, don't follow trends to get drowned in the sea of competition. Instead, create your own trend. Let others
Alex,
follow.
I did that, and they did follow.
No, but you kind of spoke about that. You
They
spoke that
followed.
you were worried about there were enough designers out there. You didn't know if you had a voice
Oh,
that you
yeah.
wanted to kind of have with your design style. And I think that you kind of paved the way by still referencing old trends that were important to you, and then turning it into, what your voice came through it all. So I think just doing what you like goes far.
Yeah, doing what you like, doing what resonates with you. You gotta go for it, which I've learned.
And then you obviously can get to a really important place where you say, "Have you seen this dog, Rosie?" It found immediately.
Yeah, these are like, I feel like in comparison, these look so bad in comparison. I'm like, oh, serious, and they're funny. Yeah. Also with the Women's March thing, actually, with this one, I just wanted to show how I don't even think this layout is good, in my opinion. Like, in terms of like what I could do now, like I just saw this when I was going through it, and I also took these photos. This was during the Women's March, in 2017, and you can see that I love symbolism and my photography. I just threw this in because I was like looking back at it. I feel like I could have done this better, or like, like, I guess it's good. Like, once you see that you could do something better, and even like,
I mean, it's all part of growth. You're always going to go back.
Yeah,
and always,
or just
they always say a painting's never finished, like.
Yeah. So I was like, and I took these photos and then I laid them out. And this is like always under a time crunch, so I feel like I could have just done better. But I am proud of like that circle, like the picture.
The
like
reason I
leading
paired
up
these
there
two together though was
what is
because you have this connection of design and photo, and in here this was kind of like on the left. It didn't feel like there, aside from the strong choice with the circle, with the female insignia, but aside from that, it didn't feel like you did much to the photos, aside from kind of just placing them on the page. Whereas then on the right, not only have you taken and stylized this photo into a black and white where you cut it out and made the background of the duck the same color as the paper to make it feel like it's written on, but then you also added extra texture to the idea of the background. And it just seems like you got a little bit more comfortable with being able to edit the photo to kind of match the design that you had in mind.
Oh yeah, no, totally. It's because, okay, I couldn't do that back in the newspaper because there was a lot of constraints. Like, there's no editing allowed. Well, editorially, I couldn't.
Right.
Like ethically, I couldn't do that. So, but I did. But once I got into my own project, I really enjoyed. I mean, we all know like there's just a paper texture trend. And I just really enjoyed editing it, like making it look like it was old.
Right.
And like, or like make it seem like it all flows together. I was pretty proud of the "Have you seen this dog" one, because
it feels very cohesive. The whole thing feels like a single unit.
Because in the beginning it was just like a duck. The photo did not look like this, but those are the tricks I've learned to make it look like.
And then where does that phone number navigate to? It's not a 555. So is that just someone's random phone number?
I don't. Oh, I think that's the date.
That's the date. Oh, because it's 2022. Got it. Oh,
is it? I forget the joke I made. 302. What?
045 20.
Oh, okay. Poster 302. April 5th, 2020. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't even know what I said.
If we weren't on Adobe Live right now, I would pull out my phone and call that phone number. But I feel like the moderators would give me a note, be like, don't call random numbers on the street.
Also, there's like a reference to the Central Valley, Porterville, California. I don't know. I was just thinking, like, what would be a
Do not trust her. Do not approach. Extremely dangerous.
Yeah, don't trust this dog, please. Do not.
Don't trust the dog.
Rosie's crazy, but so I guess I just have an affinity for paper as well, because I was like, I used to like see like that on the left. I would see it in real life on a newspaper the next day, and we would be there for 4 a.m. By the way, like it was like really late, like doing the paper. And also the worst part is, and the worst part is we always do critiques of the paper.
Oh, after it's printed?
Yeah, so I would get fucking roasted.
Oh,
I get roasted in front of class every Wednesday or whenever we did it. Yeah, roasted.
Was it early class, or you were at least able to like recuperate?
Yeah. No, it was early, or it was at noon. So, and I would be asleep, but I would make it half awake. So it was never a fun time. It was like, it actually doesn't work. I'm like, okay, then why weren't you here at 3 a.m.?
Right.
I was like, you could have said that. You could have said that. Yeah, you could have said that but you weren't here. So sorry.
Sam Peterson in the chat, he's saying he is sitting someone's duck, and I made a joke asking what kind of dog it was. So the dog design feels very relevant to me.
Yeah, there's most animals could be categorized as a dog or a cat. So one of those.
This is just for you.
Like
make sure you print these out and leave them all around the house at your sister's pet sitting job.
But yeah, so wow. Dog.
Cool. All right. Well, that's all the ones that I have from this to that. Thank you for sending over those old pieces that you had for the newspaper. I am sorry that through that you had to be critiqued right afterwards.
I got
rough.
That's why Instagram comments never bother me. I'm like, you don't know.
Built up that thick skin.
I already have a thick skin. You could say whatever you want to me. I will block. It will not faze me. It will not faze me.
Also, in the chat, Oliver said that it's a quackshund.
A quackshund
of a dog.
Oh, quackshund. I see.
Which is funny.
That's good. Quackshund.
So okay, so we got about like 10 minutes left before I have to say goodbye.
Wow.
I think the last segment that I would like to do is kind of like look behind the process, kind of like peel back. I know we already looked at your notebook a little bit, but let's check out what's in your sketchbook.
Ooh, what's in your sketchbook?
So you sent over this calendar with a bunch of circles.
Okay, I should have linked you to the piece that was finished. After.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, hit me up. Do you know what the one is for your?
It's your finished one? Yeah, it's on the 365, so you could actually. I could
probably go and share my screen again. We could probably check it out. Also, I see there's one more question in here. So after we do this, I will do your question.
Wait, go down. I think it's somewhere. Oh yeah, there it is. The art of coming on the left.
This one?
That is
wow.
That is
wow.
From that to that.
That's remarkable. Okay, so this is, I guess, just like a whiteboard. Calendar next to your desk or something.
Yeah, it's in my room. I never use it. It's kind of just like a magnetic relic. But I had this idea about like a relationship or something. It's funny because that is from a textbook. I saw it. I was like just perusing Flickr or something, and I saw this.
Flickr?
Yeah, Flickr. There's when you go on Flickr, there's a
throwback Yahoo Flickr.
No, but there's a lot of good Flickr albums of people just scanning textbooks and stuff.
Right. Okay.
So I saw this and I was like, wait, I drew this. I didn't even have to draw it. Like I had this idea. I was like, this was like, I drew this like months ago. Or like it was like from like 9 weeks ago. This original sketch was like from 2021, like very early on. I just drew it and I just never erased it.
And so it was just sitting there.
It was just sitting there for a long time. And I was like, I'll make this one day. And then once I saw that picture on Flickr, I was like, oh shit, like this is it. Like I found it. And then I made it. So I was like, and the original idea was like relationship. Oh yeah, basically a relationship. Well, the original idea with the sketch was you would be together and then you like come apart. Like, you know, when you're in a relationship, first you're together and then you kind of split in two again. So it's kind of like sad. But when I actually was in the process of making it, it was more of like Oh, and this was also inspired by Steffi Lorette. I was like, oh, what if we make it about like actually just coming into, maybe I was in a different mood when I sketched it out, but this one was more of a celebration of coming together instead of the heartache of splitting.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you have
into two.
contact, connection, calm, and celebration. So I read it as a very positive vibe.
Yeah. Well, the original sketch, if you go back to it, I think the original one was like they would like from top left to right. They would come together. There'll be one, and then they would split apart again. But
so it's much more depressing.
Much more depressing originally.
But over time
now
became a much happier thing.
Yeah, I think I tried to do the original idea, but it just didn't work, I think.
No.
So I think this is way better in terms of like a positive. Sometimes I like being depressing online, and sometimes I like being upbeat, and it's just a flow, it's just a mood constantly changes. But yeah, that was. And I usually never sketch everybody. Like, I'm not gonna lie. This was I just thought it would be fun to show this because it's still on my board.
It's phenomenal. I love that because you sent it over and I was like, what did he send? Did he mean to send me this picture? And then seeing that and having that have a connection to this.
Yeah, I should have sent what it turned into.
No, I mean, I love the reveal, honestly.
Yeah, so that's the original. Yeah, I remember. I just got this vision of this piece, and I was like, I gotta sketch this somewhere, and I just drew it on there, and it's still there. I'm staring at it right now, and
yeah,
I never erased it. But yeah, that's one of the few times I sketch something, and then sometimes I just see it in my head, and I just go straight to Photoshop. I'm like, all right, let's just do this.
I mean, that's great. And then so yeah, we have time for one more question, and I saw Katya asked this in the chat. She said, what do you do when you feel like you don't know what to do or where to begin? Do you have any favorite resources where you find visual assets to work with? So you said Flickr. Assets. I know you mentioned Pinterest.
Pinterest, yes. Also, we all have those. I use a lot of photography, stock photography. So I just go on Unsplash. Sometimes
Behance all the time.
Oh yeah, Behance. And Unsplash, Behance, and Pixabay. If you like working with photos, I would recommend liking. I do this a lot. Or also I use I pay for a site called Envato Elements, but also Raw Pixel. But my process with this, and this is maybe because I don't have a life. Sometimes I would just, and maybe also it's because I try to keep up during the project. I was like, I need to keep up with it. I would just scroll through these sites,
right,
and just look for assets, because I feel like half the time my process is just looking through stock sites,
right,
finding for the right image to work with something. Or in my free time, this is where I don't have life, it's like I just go through it. I would just browse for fun. It's like I would just browse through these stock websites for fun, and then I would heart them and I would save them, and then be like, and I would have like, yeah, usually these sites have like a feature where you can just like stuff and save it for later. So I would save them for later and have I'm like, okay, I'll probably use this. Like, this is a good photo. I would use this later, probably for something, anything. I don't know what it is, but I will use it. So I would save that. And then once the rest of the idea comes, you already have the photo, and then you just do it, like you already have it all set. So
yeah, you have the materials, you have the ingredients. So
I'm just like getting ready. Yeah, so that's one of the things that was really helpful for me and kept me going. And sometimes a picture will just inspire me to make something, and then I would go for there. So I just browse. I just look at stuff. I just look at a lot of stuff.
Just keep design on top of the mind, pretty much, as you live your life.
Yeah,
and make sure you leave notes for yourself.
And I think one of the things with the 365 for me was I built up like a creative momentum. I know we talk a lot about creative burnout, creative block, but I want to talk about let's talk about creative momentum, because like once you start going, like even if you just open Photoshop and you place like one piece of text, one picture, you're already like starting to go, and then you're going, and then like once you're like really rolling, you're like in the flow. And that's what I miss about doing the 365 every day right now.
Yeah,
is like there's this like my schedule was like I wake up, get a cup of coffee, and go straight to work because I always just want to get the 365 over with.
Yeah.
So I would
So you
block
did
out
first thing in the morning. Wow, I didn't know that.
first thing in the morning. I'm kind of a morning. I like morning design, like because I feel like I have the most creative energy in the beginning.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
creative momentum, and then I would just do that, and then that kind of spills into like everything else. Like you just kind of like, I need to design. Like even when it was over, I still designed because I was like, I feel like I'm not, like something's missing. Like I should be doing something right now. So you know, it was just a creative momentum. You create creative momentum for yourself, and you don't even have to post it. Just don't like if you're like blocked or burnt out a little bit, just do something. Just do something a little bit creative every day, and you don't have to post it. You could draft it and then or work on it later, but you just gotta like
Save it for yourself.
be disciplined. Like yeah, save it for yourself, but don't be. I'm trying to like, where's the middle ground of like being disciplined and just kind of waiting for inspiration? Because like the thing with the 365 was like, if you wait for inspiration, that could maybe it'll never come.
Right.
Or yeah, that's the fear. Like, what if it never comes? But also you gotta like, you don't want to like force yourself. Like when you're like sometimes I would be working on a piece midway and it just doesn't feel like it's working. And I would literally just switch gears. I was like, you know what? This isn't working. I know it's not going to work. And it's going to take me all day if I like force it. So I'm just going to switch gears. I'm going to save that for later. And I'm going to work on something that flows better, like where I enjoy it better. And then that's happened multiple times on the 365 where it was like, okay, the first idea doesn't work. I'm just going to switch gears and then work on something else that feels a lot more like it in flow. And then that would be the one I post. So, you know, you got to like listen. I don't know. You get a hang of it where you just kind of like, okay, I know in my mind it's not up to my standards, but I have to post something. So I would just
That's all those parameters again, which is nice.
Yeah. But then I have all these other ideas like, all right, let's work on this idea then. Like, I'm really excited for this idea. So let's do this. And then I would post that. So that's kind of like one of the things that like got me through it. Cause like, I know people want to like, just like bash their head against the wall with this idea. Like, I know you want to do it. I know you want to, but it's not ready yet. So
and you can always come back to it later. You don't,
you don't have
killing it in the water, you know?
This is why you need a big backlog of ideas. Cause like, for the 365, you're going to do one. So if one idea doesn't work, you could always go back to this one. And I actually had like a no ideas post like ready to go. I just never got the opportunity to use it.
You didn't have to, which is kind of great.
Yeah. So I had emergency. I had every like, you know, for every emergency, I was like, if I can't post, I have this post. Yeah.
Good to have. All right. Well, that puts us at a time, though. Obviously, I had a wonderful time with you. I learned a lot. It was great going through all your work, hearing how your brain ticks, seeing how you've grown.
Yeah.
Learning about some great fonts to use in the future, because I know you're talking about your favorite typefaces.
Futura. That's it. That's all you got.
Just Futura.
You don't need anything else.
We can find you on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch as OversetText. When do you stream on Twitch?
I don't have a set schedule right now, but I will stream on Thursday to formally announce this
holographic poster.
The holographic poster. But I will also be power ranking all of the 365.
Oh, that's a fantastic idea. All right, I'll have to make sure that I tune in for that.
So we're not gonna rank him by number, but we're just gonna like do tiers of like.
No, you're gonna do like the candy bar,
the
like
S tier, A tier. Because I'll tell you right now, I don't like the second one, like number 2, like 2 of 365. My sophomore slump, you know, we have.
It's fine.
We have duds.
It's good. Given a year, it's okay to not have some favorite children.
Yeah, but that's only that one. That's the one I just don't dislike the most. But yeah, I'll be streaming that on Thursday, but I'll probably stream more once I have more announcements. But Instagram, Twitter, more announcements. Might do another 365. Who knows? You gotta follow me to find out. Who knows?
All right. Well, thank you so much. Talk to you soon. See you around on the internet. And have a great day, man.
All right. Thank you everyone for watching. Bye.
Everybody. All right, guys. I'm gonna make this quick just because I am running out of time real quick. But thank you so much. Stay tuned. We got another thing coming up to you right at the halfway point of the hour. I think you're gonna be joined by Andrew Hockrottle. And then I'll be back in 30 minutes after that for another segment of Offset with Zachary Bromberg. We will be going over some video editing tools. We will be making a video with you guys with your suggestions. So make sure you tune in and you give that. And then, we'll be breaking down and talking about the directors of Everywhere, Everything, All at Once. Or Everything Everywhere All at Once. And it's going to be a really good time. So I hope to see you guys. Please stick around for the show that's coming up in about 4 minutes. I'm going to hit the thanks for watching, and I will see you all real soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.
Go.